Hello everyone, thanks for joining us on another informative edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Theodore Henry. We have a lot in store, starting with the news of the day, so please stick around.
Good day, I'm Twyla Whelan, and this is your JS News for Monday, August 19, 2024. Good news for St. Thomas residents as the Arcadia to Amity Hall corridor of the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project is progressing as scheduled. The update was given during a recent tour of the area by a combined team which included Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Works underway include the laying of storm drains, water lines and fiber optic cable, as well as the construction of embankment walls. The contractor is hoping to complete works under Tranche 3 by the end of December this year, and full completion is expected by March 2025. Prime Minister Holness says the St. Thomas to Portland leg of the project is massive and complex and requires the patience of residents along with adequate monitoring by the authorities.
So I do hear the cries of the residents who live in this area who are inconvenienced that a pothole has occurred here or there's a breakaway. And I wish to assure the public that this project is not yet finished. This project is still under construction. It is still under a construction contract. And therefore, if there are any defects, if there are any failures, they must be corrected under the construction. This project is also under a 2-year defects liability warranty.
Meanwhile, weighing scale posts are to be reinstituted at strategic locations after the completion of the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project. The reassurance came from Prime Minister Andrew Holness during the recent progress tour of work being done, pointing out that the roadway is being designed for weight expected usage in particular areas. Mr. Holness says the aim is to regulate overloaded trucks transporting aggregates.
Bear in mind, however, that there is scarcely any road that you can design for overweight trucks that improperly use the road. And that is why we're going to put in the scale. Now, once the road is complete and you can have the legal definition, because if you are weighed and found wanting, then under law, certain penalties will chip in. And that is why you have to have the road complete so you can have the established areas and the established penalties.
More hurricane barrel relief support is pouring in from Jamaica's bilateral partners. The Republic of Korea has donated $100,000 to assist with rebuilding measures. The funds, which were presented to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs last week, have already been transferred to the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM. Chargé d'Affaires at the Embassy of the Republic of Korea, Jin-woo Kim, says it is hoped that the contribution will provide relief from the suffering caused by the hurricane. The donation was welcomed by State Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Alanda Turlong, who remarks that it is a demonstration of solidarity during what has been a challenging period for Jamaica, but from which the state is determined to build back better and stronger. Approximately 25,000 people in Portland are benefiting from the new state-of-the-art Buff Bay District Health Center built at a cost of $300 million. The 12,000 square feet facility was financed by the National Health Fund, NHF. It was officially opened last week and has been equipped to provide comprehensive healthcare services and preventative care under the new primary healthcare model.
We are now going to implement a life stage approach to health. But it doesn't start at the hospital when the horse gone through the gate, when they have symptoms, when they are sick, when they need operation, when they need admission in a hospital bed, when they need a surgery from a surgeon. Important as all of that is, it really starts in the community.
Among the new additions to the health facility are an asthma bay, trauma bay, and physiotherapy department. The health minister says the new facility, which replaces one built by the British government over a century ago, extends beyond physical improvements to better working conditions for caregivers and an environment more conducive for healing and recovery.
All new facilities, all new equipment, new dental, new lab, but fundamentally, what transitions it from a type 4 to a district health center are the additional services. So there are certain curative services that previously you had to go to the hospital to get. You're going to be able to get it here at Buff Bay Health Center.
And finally, Hundreds of Jamaicans are enjoying free dental care thanks to the 1,000 Smiles project. The program, which is under the Great Shape banner, is being supported by the Sandals Foundation. The team is currently carrying out dental procedures at the Ocho Rios High School, where they will be for the next 3 weeks. The group of dentists and dental students have been seeing up to 300 persons per day since August 12.
I've been working for 43 years in dentistry, and I said the best payment I've ever received is a thank you and a hug. And I get a lot of thank you and hugs in Jamaica. And it's like Winston Churchill said, you make a living by what you get, you make a life by what you give.
The feeling of actually giving back to somebody coming into the clinic like this and leaving like this is just incredible.
The scope of the work involves cleaning, extractions and restorations. And this year, for the first time, they're offering root canal procedures. Maurice Gordon missed out on the program in the past, but made every effort to make sure he and his daughter got through this time around.
Thank the team CMF been looking out for us. Whatever we have the money, we look like we have it and about it. Don't know where money things set away, see me? So, I'm glad say we have a team who can make us feel good again.
The 1,000 Smiles team will head next to Negril and Montego Bay, rounding out approximately 10 weeks in Jamaica before going on to neighboring islands. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Twyla Whelan. Thanks for watching.
Do your part to prevent mosquito breeding. Mosquitoes will breed in any container that holds water.
Tightly cover water storage containers such as drums, barrels, buckets and tanks. If this cannot be done, pour cooking oil on the water surface. Punch holes in all tins, plastics and beverage boxes to prevent the collection of water before disposal. Cover all tires or fill with dirt to prevent water collection. Scrub all vases once per week to remove mosquito eggs. Use mosquito repellents to protect yourself from mosquito bites. Dispose of garbage properly by placing in plastic bags and securing properly to prevent water collection.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Preparation is on in earnest for back to school this year. Parents, as you head to the stores for the books, the uniforms, the bags, and the other essentials, don't forget the health checks. We're kickstarting our feature segment of the show by looking into one particular health matter, deworming. What is it, and why it should make it onto your back to school checklist?
Deworming is the process of giving worm medicine to an individual to get rid of parasites such as roundworm and tapeworm. While the focus is usually on children, adults should also be dewormed. Consultant pediatrician at the Bustamante Hospital for Children, Dr. Sandrika Young-Peart, tells us why this process is important, signs to look for, and the impact of these worms to our health.
When we talk about worms, we're talking about multiple different types. We may talk about the roundworm, the pinworm, or we can talk about the whipworm. And these are just some of the few worms that exist. The worms can actually cause a disease burden on our society, and the complications of having worm infestations are numerous and problematic. It affects how our children may concentrate and may be able to learn. There are actually documented findings that it actually affects your cognitive and your physical development and your ability to concentrate in school. And so it's actually important that we actually rid our children of these parasites. According to the WHO, approximately 800 million children are actually affected by worms each year. So what are some of the signs that a person may have worms? Symptoms could be what we commonly think about, like grinding of the teeth. They may be itching their anus, right? They may actually have weight loss. They may feel very tired and fatigued. And these are just some of the symptoms that may give you an indication that your child may have worm. They may not have any signs at all. Or they can have other signs and symptoms, such as vomiting, abdominal swelling or distension, diarrhea, or constipation. If the worms actually form balls, they can actually block the intestines, and that can either cause constipation and cause the child to vomit. They can also present with wheezing, and we may think they are actually asthmatics, but it's actually the worms that have migrated into the lungs to cause obstruction of the airway and cause the child to wheeze. So how do they get infected? They may get infected either by eating or drinking contaminated water or food. If there is inadequate or improper waste disposal, and if we don't wash our hands before we eat or drink food. And there's a particular worm that you can actually get if you actually walk barefooted. So that is also something to bear in mind. And so it's actually important that we actually give our children worm medicine so we can actually target getting rid of these worms and actually reducing the worm burden in our society. You can deworm your children twice per year. You should actually give them worm medicine, and all the persons who are in the household should also get the worm medicine at the same time. It is important that our adults also be treated or dewormed, because we can be asymptomatic, meaning that we don't have any symptoms at all, but we can still be carriers of worms. And when we excrete or pass our feces, especially sometimes when we do it inappropriately, we may pass out the eggs of these worms. Then our cows or poultry or pigs may actually ingest these when they feed. And then that's a vicious cycle. And should our children be playing in the areas where waste is inadequately disposed, then they too can actually pick up the eggs or the larvae on their fingers. And if they don't wash their hands before they eat, or while they're in the midst of playing, they may actually put their fingers in their mouth, then they too can actually ingest these worms. So how can you prevent your child from getting worms? It's difficult, but there are some basic tips that we can actually do to reduce the chance of our children getting these serious worm infections and having the complications. Basic hand washing before eating our food, allowing our children not to walk barefooted, allowing our children not to play with the pets, especially if their pets are not treated quite frequently. And importantly, proper hygiene. Ensure that our waste is disposed properly. So it's pretty important that we all get on board as adults so we can actually reduce the worm burden and the impact on our society.
Children are the future, and ensuring our future is healthy requires that children are always provided with nutritious foods to grow well and live long. Unhealthy diets high in sugar, salt, and fat consumed by children may make them obese and prone to non-communicable diseases later in life. Healthy foods and beverages not only help them learn better, but also protects them from non-communicable diseases such as some cancers, diabetes, hypertension, and cardiovascular diseases in their childhood and adult life. So, whether it's at home, in the lunch bag, or at school, let's make healthy foods and beverages for our children the only rule.
You know, they say children learn best on a full stomach, but even if the food is provided, some oral health issues could make it difficult for the little ones to consume what they must to sustain healthy bodies. As you get them ready for September morning, don't forget the oral health checkup.
Dental health is really important because the mouth is the entry point of nutrition in our bodies. And if it is not functioning properly, then we run the risk of not getting the correct nutrition. Actually, we refer more so to oral health these days than dental health. If we have bad teeth that impair our ability to chew properly, then we will tend to keep away from certain food groups that could be challenging to chew. People with bad oral hygiene, people who use and eat, drink a lot of sweets. You can have decay, and you can also have, along with it, periodontal gum disease. You know, the big one that jump out at me is periodontal disease, gum disease. That is when the gum begin to be bleedy, sore, puffy, and just generally uncomfortable. It carries some social consequences, bad breath, and you tend to lose self-confidence. It's so important to have a consultation with your dental personnel, whether the dental surgeon or the hygienist, who will be able to diagnose the needed treatment for such a condition. All sugars are bad, but everything is in moderation. The Jamaica Dental Association endorsed the efforts of the government in reducing the levels of sugar in the bottled beverages. The aim is to get it to 2.5 milligrams in 100 mils by the year 2023. It would be roughly 2.5 teaspoonful. The current level that the government has aimed for, and it was introduced the end of January, is 5 milligrams per 100 mils. So that is coming from 6.5, so it's a gradual reduction. And the taste will be not so significantly different. As a dentist, I recommend the soft, but I'm aware that a lot of patients tend towards the harder ones. It does some damage by cutting a little line at the neck of the teeth, just where the teeth meet the gum line. So we recommend the soft toothbrush. It's really important to begin by putting the brush on the gum. A lot of people avoid the gum because they tend to think that it makes the gum bleedy. It's the exact opposite. It is as a result of not brushing the gum why there is some amount of bleediness. And you should brush in the direction of growth. The top ones, you brush them down in a circular motion, and the bottom ones, you brush them up, covering all surfaces. Don't forget your tongue and, as I said before, the gum itself. Flossing is very, very important. If you try to imagine that the toothbrush does not get between the teeth, the only thing that can remove the material that will accumulate between the teeth would be the dental floss. The technique is also important. Hold it short, get it past that little tight area, and gently bring it down into the gum, that little crevice of the gum, and remove it. Remove material that might have accumulated there. And we recommend 6 monthly checkup. If you tend to be prone to decays, we would really like to see you every 6 months. If you have been checked and you are pretty much okay, a yearly visit would be adequate. Extraction really is the last resort. With regular examination, we can pick up using x-rays and visual examination early decays, and these can be effectively dealt with by regular fillings. If it has gone too far and it is now in the nerve, there are other procedures called root canals that can be done, and sometimes we need to cover the entire tooth with a crown to bring it back to usefulness.
Motorcyclists who do not wear helmets account for more than 30% of persons who die in road crashes. Government and private sector are partnering on a national helmet-wearing coalition to curtail this carnage and create an environment that encourages every rider to put on safety gear when they hit the road.
Jamaica, motorcycling is more than just a transportation. For some, it's a lifestyle. But this thrilling ride comes with high stakes. Data from the National Road Safety Council shows that motorcyclists account for more than 30% of fatalities from road crashes. 90% of the motorcyclists who die on our roads were not wearing a helmet. With these alarming statistics, the Jamaica National Foundation (JNF) and the National Road Safety Council (NRSC) have combined forces to create the National Helmet Wearing Coalition (NHWC). The initiative is being funded by a global charity, the FIA Foundation out of London.
The main purpose is to create an environment, an ecosystem if you will, where motorcyclists will want to wear helmets and will want to wear an approved standard helmet.
Tradition and habit often outweigh safety in Jamaica. Many riders shun helmets and gear, risking severe injury and death.
If you wear a helmet and you are involved in a crash, up to 60% of those who are involved in a crash will not die. And the main reason for this is that helmets protect your head. And head injuries is a big problem with motorcyclists. They die because of this. They die because of other reasons. They have problems with their legs. They have severe injuries because they're wearing slippers and shorts. But the big problem is that they're not wearing helmets.
In recent years, the roads have become increasingly dangerous for motorcycle drivers.
We have seen a tremendous increase in the number of them dying. 2012, only 260 people died. Last year, 425 died. And the main reason is that in 2012, 41 motorcyclists died. Last year and the year before, over 150. So we have had a tremendous jump. And it's mainly due to the young motorcycles, which are cheap imports out of China. And if the police sees them, because you have no license, you have no insurance, and police sees them and they buy another one tomorrow morning because they have money from different sources.
Picture this. You are behind the wheel and suddenly a yang zooms towards you pulling a wheelie. It's a heart-stopping moment, isn't it?
It's scary. You can make a sudden move and endanger your own life. So that's a big problem now, and it's not just a yang. I've seen the messengers who are transporting lunch and dinner and all kind of things, doing wheelies also. It's crazy. It's a cultural change that we need to address and address head on. It's not easy. Cultural change takes place over a long period of time. But we believe that we have the right messages. We are developing them now.
Several different types of helmets are available in the market. These include full-face, half, and three-quarter helmets. A full-face helmet protects your entire head and face, as well as your neck, which makes it the safest sort of motorcycle helmet to protect you in the event of impact. Half helmets cover the top and back part of your head. This style offers the lowest level of protection. Three-quarter helmets cover everything except the rider's face. Outside of helmets, many motorcyclists are also driving under the influence of alcohol and drugs such as marijuana.
Data done by Dr. Carey Fletcher of the St. Anne's Bay Hospital, an orthopedic surgeon, shows that many of the riders who crashed had consumed alcohol up to 3 hours before the crash, and many of them were driving under the influence of smoking marijuana, weed. So if you can get these drivers to do not drink and drive, do not smoke and drive, do not smoke ganja and drive, then they'll be in a better position to live, survive, and to avoid serious injuries.
The Coalition's response: comprehensive training programs, teaching new riders the skills they need to stay safe.
Many of the motorcyclists are not trained to ride a bike. They buy a bike, they often don't buy a helmet. There's no law that stipulates that you must buy a helmet. Most of these are young people, 18, 19, 20, we see them around. They have no insurance.
However, riding without a helmet is a ticketable offense under Section 74, subsection 3 of the new Road Traffic Act. Drivers can also be fined for failing to have their pillion wear a helmet. The fine is $8,000 and 2 points are deducted from the driver's license for each offense. And driving without motor vehicle insurance could land you a ticket of $20,000.
Many of them are behaving irresponsibly in other areas of their life. They jump on a bike, they just went around the corner, they don't believe that it's going to cause them any trouble. And because of this, many of them die and are injured. So the first thing that we have tried to do is to start a training program. We started a training program in Westmoreland in association with the Ministry of National Security, Heart Trust and other agencies to try and train bikers to ride properly. And part of the program, part of the incentive is that once they pass the yard test in this training program, when they go to the depot and the ITA, they don't have to repeat it. They just need to do the other standard tests that they do here. So it's an incentive.
With support from the Office of the Prime Minister, 10,000 helmets are being distributed. But it's not just about giving helmets, it's about changing minds.
So far, 2,000 have been purchased and that will be distributed through the National Road Safety Council. So we're going to shut this into the training program because we don't believe in handing out a helmet because most people who get a helmet will not wear it. We believe in training and encouraging and telling you how to use it and the importance of it. So between the Prime Minister's program and the National Helmet Wearing Coalition and other areas of funding, we're hoping to get a helmet on the heads of every driver in this country.
And the coalition's message to motorcyclists?
Wearing a helmet will save your life. If you're a motorcyclist, it will save your life. Wearing a helmet is a sensible thing to do. It should become part of your whole approach to riding. Riding is a fun thing. It can be a fun thing. Yes, it is for many a means of transportation, moving from point A to point B. A lot of riders are people who are working class citizens who use their bike to ride to work every day. And there are some who really enjoy riding. So in order for you to deal with both of those issues, in terms of going to work and enjoying the riding, you wear helmets, you'll survive. You'll survive for your family's sake, you'll survive for the nation's sake, and you'll survive for your sake. So get to the program, wear a helmet.
Ride safe, Jamaica, for your family, your nation, and yourself. Wear a helmet.
Our half-hour journey through the pages of Jamaica Magazine ends right here for today, but please join us again tomorrow on this station for more news, features, and information you can use. In the meantime, visit our website, jis.gov.jm, for this and other offerings. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry. Till such time, take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.